I'm going to be totally honest and transparent with you in this video. I've struggled massively with my morality and my values with how I navigate my relationships. Historically, I've always been more of a traditional relationship type of guy. I would look up to people who are in relationships who are loyal, honest, caring, and as time went on, I found that I would model how I would navigate my relationships around more healthy dynamics like that. But you guys might have noticed a shift in recent years, especially in the online space. More and more often, these Dan Blazerian haram lifestyles are being pushed down your throat in mass across social media. The narrative being that it's high value man shit and it's okay because you're a man and juggling multiple women is fine, and that it's the imperative of masculine men who have high testosterone. One woman will never be enough for a man. They need to experience different flavors of life. And if I'm being honest, going from someone who got zero attention from women, literally zero, for most of my life, and continuing along my journey of self-development and starting to now cultivate a lot of options when it comes to women, I can't lie to you and tell you that this sort of lifestyle hasn't seemed appealing to me, especially with everyone around me in my space doing very similar things to me, either living or preaching that lifestyle, or just being very flippant with how they view relationships. And sitting here objectively, going down that pathway for me is certainly the easier option. I would have more fun, I would have far less responsibility, and also it's very marketable as well. Living the high value man lifestyle and posting pictures and videos of me with new beautiful women every single week is very marketable for young men. And then there's also the arguments of like, Sam, if you get a girlfriend now, you're just going to become really complacent. So if you just treat women for what they are, which is just fun, then you can focus on building yourself up and making a bunch of money, and then you can settle down, Sam, when you're 35 years old. It looks attractive, juggling multiple women, living this very marketable and fun lifestyle, and also just the feeling of being included. When my friends are talking to me about how they had sex with this girl and then they had sex with this other girl, and they're talking about how they navigate their relationships, I would get a feeling of inclusion and also value if I was also contributing to those conversations. And with me being in the position that I'm in, I'm still young, I'm still in my early years of development of self and also my business. Attaching myself to one woman and investing in her both physically, mentally, financially can feel very scary and daunting. And that attachment and that amount of responsibility is no longer an issue if you do just navigate your lifestyle in the high value man way. And if you're listening to me now and you're thinking like, Sam, what are you on about, man? I don't have a business, I'm still in school, I don't even get any attention from women. How could I possibly be in this situation you're talking about now? Trust me, bro, I was just like that not that long ago as well. And this shit can happen very fast if you are actually taking action and bettering yourself on a day-to-day basis. I was a nerd who was getting zero attention from women, so this lifestyle wasn't even anywhere near an option for me. I would have been happy with just one girl's attention. You would be surprised how quickly this stuff can actually catch up to you though, and you'll start to cultivate so many more options as a man on his journey of self-development. You might find yourself in a similar position to me now where I have been tempted by the devil. You have a certain pull towards this lifestyle. You might have your friends telling you how amazing Dan Blazerian's life setup book is and how they want to have multiple wives, all of this garbage. You can go from one extreme of getting absolutely zero bitches to getting a fuck ton of female attention on a near enough day-to-day basis quite quickly. And I promise you that transition is jarring as fuck, and it can be very easy to fall into this trap. And I liken this to the devil because when I see a woman who is eye-fucking me and I have a girlfriend, it's very easy as a man to start to slip into the land of what if. What if I did go up and talk to this girl who's eye-fucking me right now? I bet she wouldn't complain about doing the dishes. I bet she would happily get me a coffee in the morning without complaining. I bet she's so good in bed. You can start to ask yourselves these questions based around your lust. And that is when you begin to dance with the devil. You're being tested by God right now. You're being tested on your loyalty and your faith. And by slipping into this land of what ifs, you have begun your slow dance with the devil. And once you begin your slow dance with the devil, I promise you, it's very easy to make mistakes that you will regret later on in your life. I find that a lot of the men who navigate their dating lives in this high value man way have been faced with this dilemma. They've got a girlfriend, they're out and about and they get eye fucked by a really hot girl or something, and I imagine this is what happens in their brain. They either go forward with it and just straight up cheat on their girlfriend, and then they end up justifying it in their brains by saying, I'm a high value man, I have high testosterone, I can juggle multiple women, and then to justify their poor decision making and their complete lack of morality and values, they actually live by that code. Or they don't cheat on their girlfriends, but they're so mired by the land of what ifs, they're so infatuated by what could be, that they end up just breaking up with their girlfriend and then just falling into this life setup anyway, because they cannot control themselves. They continue to fantasize over what could be rather than what they have. The only difference between myself and the high value men who navigate their lives like this is that in that moment I discerned straight away that me falling into the land of what ifs is a bad thing. That is not a good character trait to have. It is sinful. Yes, I am a high testosterone man, and yes, I do have an abundance of options. That doesn't mean I have to exercise all of my options. You'll often hear this when you argue with someone like this. Yeah, well, Sam, you're just a pussy and you've got low T and you don't want to have sex with loads of women. Bro, I would love to have sex with loads of women. I really would, okay? It's just that my values and my morality are far more important to me than my hedonistic want for sex. And I can sympathize for these people because being in those situations, it can be very difficult. You have an argument with your girlfriend in the morning, you're arguing over some really dumb shit. Maybe you feel like she doesn't understand you or whatever. You leave the house, you're a bit annoyed, you go to the gym, someone in the gym looks at you a certain way, and at that point it's very easy to slip into the land of what if. Oh my god, I bet she wouldn't have made me pissed off this morning. Oh, I bet she's really good in bed. Oh, I bet she's like this and this and this and she'll do this and this and this for me. But what you don't understand in that moment is that while your girlfriend might not be perfect, because no one is, which is my exact point, the girl who's eye fucking you also shits, okay? She shits on the toilet as well. She's not going to be perfect. You're just visualizing and idealizing her right now as perfect because that suits your narrative. And you're allowing yourself to slip into that, which is going to cause you to make bad immoral decisions. And then once you allow yourself to fall into those moral dilemmas, you then justify it by saying you're a high value man and this is just how you live. When I was struggling immensely with how I should navigate my relationships, once again, I was very conflicted. It's so easy for me to go down this path. Everyone's telling me go down this path, be a high value man fuckboy, but I still wasn't sure. I always leaned towards traditional wifey. I want traditional wifey relationship. I want to have sex with the same girl for the rest of my life, and I want to have beautiful children with her, and I want to be a good role model for my children. I wasn't sure. In that moment, I turned to God. And God makes it very simple, man. One of the 10 commandments is, don't cheat on your baby girl, okay? Simple as that. It takes all of the question marks out of it. And honestly, this high value man lifestyle being easier for me to go down is already a big red flag. To me, anything easy is like question marks and red flags are being raised massively. Because nothing good worth having is usually easy. And I understand now that the amount of sacrifice that I put into my relationships and put into a woman who I love actually increases how much I value her and how much I get from her as well. If I'm not even willing to sacrifice my innate desire to have sex with as many women as possible, then of course I'm not going to get much out of my relationships with women. There's actually a Bible verse which I discovered a few days ago which helped me make a lot of sense over this. And if there's anything that you take away from this video, it's this. Matthew 5:27 to 28. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And the way that these fucking relationships work as well is so garbage. This is essentially what happens when you're a high value man and you are operating on high value man fucking ideas, right? You find a good girl, and everyone knows that if you have sex with a good girl who is pure of heart, has a low body count because she's saving herself for a good man, they'll attach to you very quickly once you have sex with them. So here's what they do, the high value men guys. They find a good girl and then they have sex with her. And then once they've had sex with her and she's super attached to him and she's in love with him and she sees him as some sort of fucking superhero, he then drops it on her that, by the way, I'm gonna have sex with loads of different women and there's nothing you can do to stop me. You can just either accept it or leave me. And of course, she's so in love with you at this point that she fucking just accepts it. And then they try and cope and say, yeah, women don't even care. They're happy to, like, you know, share a king. It's bullshit. Of course they care, which is why it's a rule in these sorts of relationships that you don't ever bring up the other women that you're having sex with, because it would straight away upset her. Of course it would. You've basically emotionally manipulated a woman into a relationship where she's not fully happy in. Of course she doesn't want you having sex with other women. Of course. And this is the behavior of a high value man. Let me ask you this, high value men watching this video. Would you want your daughter to date a man like you? No. Why not? You're a high value man, and so therefore it would be assumed that you date high value women too, right? Why would you not want your daughter to be a high value woman in the same sense that the girl that you're having sex with right now is also a high value woman? Why not, man? Answer it. When you put it that way, it's so obvious. Of course, I don't want my daughter dating some dickhead who weaponizes the best part of female nature, which is their attachment to you as their superhero, against them. A man so flippant and unable to attach himself to one woman because he has no control over his sexual urges and zero discipline. Let me ask you this as well. Why is it that being a high value man is all about discipline and hard work up until the point where you have to decide where you put your cock? Why does discipline just suddenly completely fall off at that point? And it's like, well, yeah, I am a high value man. I need to have sex with loads of women. Why is that? Let me ask you this one final question to put the nail in the coffin of the high value man lifestyle, which all of your favorite influencers are living right now, and it's fucking hedonistic garbage, by the way. One final nail in the coffin. Did you know that children model their future relationships based on what they see in their mother and father? Imagine if you're a kid and you grow up seeing daddy constantly sneaking out of the house to have sex with other women other than mommy, and then constantly hearing them bickering and arguing about it. Imagine the sense of insecurity and uncertainty that that child is going to grow up with. When I see these high value men flaunting their lifestyle on their Instagram reels with multiple different women every other week, it's that child's face with tears streaming down their eyes, disassociating from their environment because it's so painful for them to even imagine that mommy and daddy are having an argument. That is what I see. Rather than this bullshit facade that you're putting up on the internet about how epic you are as a man and how much of a womanizer you are, it's garbage. Think of your children. Grow the fuck up. And heed my warning, I'm going to repeat it again. When you start to cultivate female attention in your life, you're going to be tested constantly. The devil will continually ask you to have a little dance. The devil will come in the form of a girl who makes solid eye contact with you. It'll come in the form of friends telling you about their casual sexcapades and having a sense of FOMO about it. Oh, I wish I was doing that. It will test you constantly. And as soon as you start to drift into the land of what if, you are in danger. It's not okay to fantasize about having sex with other women. It's not healthy, and it's going to snowball into you slipping up and making bad mistakes. It is sinful, it is wrong, and you should draw a hard moral line, because if you don't draw a hard moral line, you will dance with the devil. If you want to learn how to make money online from the comfort of your bedroom or traveling the world with your laptop, I teach over 500 of my students how to do exactly that. And as you can see on the screen here, we're getting excellent results inside of my academy. You could be next. Take care, boys.